Hello.
Today, we're gonna talk about John Pemberton. He's the guy who made Coca-Cola. I don't have a thing of Coca-Cola with me, so we're kind of just gonna have to do with what we have, which is nothing. We got nothing. Well, yeah. Let's take a look. John Stith Pemberton. He was born on July 8th, 1831, and died on August 16th, 1888. He was an American pharmacist and fought in the American Civil War as a lieutenant general in the Confederate Army. J. Pemberton was born in Knoxville, Georgia, August 16th, 1831, and grew up in the town of Rome, Georgia. His parents were James C. Pemberton, he was the father, and Martha L. Gant, which was the mother. Pemberton entered the Reformed Medical College of Georgia in Macon, Georgia, and later in 1850, at age 19, he earned his medical degree there. With his main talent being chemistry, and after initially practicing some medicine and surgery, Pemberton opened a drugstore in Columbus, Georgia, 1850. This is a very cruddy reenactment of the Battle of Columbus, which is not even anywhere. This isn't going to be anywhere close to the actual Battle of Columbus, but this is just to give you an idea of what happened to Pemberton during the battle, basically. Pause the sound film right there. You see that guy right there that's getting stabbed? That's Pemberton. Well, it's supposed to be anyway. Yeah, he gets a jab wound and he gets addicted to morphine. So yeah, that's fun. When Pemberton got wounded by a saber in April 1865 during the Battle of Columbus, he became addicted to morphine, which was used to treat his wounds. In 1866, while seeking a cure for his addiction, he began to experiment with painkillers that he thought would serve as a morphine-free alternative. His first recipe was called Dr. Tuggle's compound syrup of glow power. The active ingredient was derived from the buttonbush, a toxic plant that was native to Eastern and Southern America. He then began to experiment with cocoa and cocoa wines and eventually created a beverage consisting of extracts from cola nut and demiana. He called this mixture Pemberton's French Wine Cola. It was created in Columbus, Georgia, and was brought to Atlanta. At the same time, however, soldiers returning home from after the Civil War had alcoholism, depression, and neurasthenia. This term was used for mechanical weakness of the nerves. This was apparently popular amongst highly strung Southern women. With that, Pemberton's medicine was advertised as beneficial for those whose sedentary employment that causes nervous prostration. Later, in 1886, during Atlanta's and Fulton counties enacted temperate legislation, which was a movement that would soon later be connected to Prohibition during the early 1920s and late 40s. Pemberton was forced to produce a non-alcoholic alternative to his French wine cocoa. For this, Pemberton mainly relied on Atlanta drugstore owner Willis Venable to help test and help Pemberton perfect the new recipe for the beverage. which through numerous trial and error, Pemberton and Lewis had successfully created and finalized a set of directions for preparation of a non-alcoholic drink. But accidentally he blended syrup with carbonated water while trying to make a glassful of his beverage. He decided to sell his accident as a fountain beverage rather than a medicine. A man named Frank Mason Robinson, who would become an early marketer and advertiser, came up with the name Coca-Cola for an alliterative sound, which had become popular with other wines and medicine name creations of the time. Even though Coca-Cola only refers to 2 of the ingredients in the drink, it became a hit on the market that would stick for decades to come. Pemberton had also made many health claims, like how it was a brain tonic and how it would help cure headaches, relieve exhaustion, and calm nerves. Along with marketing it as delicious, refreshing, pure joy, exhilarating, and lastly, as invigorating. Not too long after Coca-Cola hit the market, Pemberton fell ill and went nearly bankrupt. Sick and albeit desperate, he began selling his rights to his formula to his business partners in Atlanta. He still was suffering from his morphine addiction, which was motivating him to sell his work. Pemberton had a slight hunch that his invention would be a national hit. He was right. So he attempted to retain a share in the ownership to leave money for his son. However, still, Pemberton's son wanted the money, so in 1888, Pemberton and his son sold the remaining portion of the patent to ASA Candler, a fellow pharmacist, for $300 US, which is equivalent to around $9,372. On the 16th of August, 1888, Pemberton had died of stomach cancer, and his body was returned to Columbus, Georgia, and was buried there at Linwood Cemetery. His grave marked with insignias for showing his service in the Confederate Army, along with his membership of being a Freemason. Though his son continued to sell the formula, in 1894, his son, Charles Pemberton, had died of an opium addiction. Okay, thank you for watching. This was a pain in the butt to film because the audio kept screwing up. Other than that, it was pretty boring. Alright, bye-bye.